Hey friends, how are you? I am very, very excited to film this video. I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail. I am here to reveal my newest book. It's available on Amazon. I'm super excited and we're gonna get right down to it. This is gonna be a full flip through of the book. It's a little bit of a larger book, so the video might be a little bit longer. Yeah, so we're gonna jump right in and here we go. This book is different than any book I've ever done. I'm very excited. I think I said that already. Okay. So this book is called Budgeting Besties. So this is your cute and convenient companion for all things budgeting. So here is the front cover. Here's the back. As always, you have my little QR code there to get to my YouTube channel. And this is the book talking to you. It says, "Hi there, I'm your budgeting bestie. If you're new to savings," no, that's not what it says. It says, "If you're new to budgeting, cash stuffing, and savings challenges, I have all the stuff you need to get started. If you're an OG, I got you. Use me to level up your budgeting game and make it more fun." And then it just tells you a little bit about what you'll find inside. And so, yeah, this book is fairly thick. And it is just what, you know, it says it is. It's a little budgeting companion. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. But it's helpful for sure. And it definitely just kind of levels up your budgeting game, as it says, especially if you're a newer budgeter. It's going to give you a lot of things that will, again, help you on your budgeting journey. So I'm going to, of course, show you every single page, explain everything as I go. A lot of these pages, well, pretty much all of the pages are meant to tear out and laminate so that they are reusable, or to copy before you use them so that you have multiple copies. So if you don't have a laminator or a friend or access to a laminator, my suggestion would be to try to make copies so that you have multiples. And you can make copies if you don't have like a friend or a printer of your own that will make copies. You can make copies, I want to say, at like a local library, a Staples store, things like that. You can Google, you know, places to make copies. And then you can make copies of these sheets so that you have as many as you need, because there are multiples of these sheets, but of course, you know, I can't fill the book with just one sheet. I mean, I could, but then, you know, that would be all there is. So you'll see what I mean as I go through. But yeah, let's get started. Okay. So in the beginning, the first few sheets are just going to tell you, this is a description of every single type of sheet that is in this book and how to use it. So once again, if you are a beginner and you don't know how to use these sheets, there is a description of every type of sheet in here and how to use it. And so, you know, I'm going to tell you how to use every sheet, but, you know, that's what these first few pages are. So of course I'm not going to read them to you here, but this is for anyone that may not know how to use these sheets, a beginner or whatever. And, you know, you can always reference this video as well, but for people that don't see this video, there we go. Okay, so the first sheet is an important dates sheet. Now, this is laid out, of course, you have a full year here. It's not dated. This is just sort of a year at a glance. So you can write things on here like birthdays, holidays, you know, anything you want, appointments, parties. There's not a ton of space. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 important dates per month. So, you know, I would just kind of go with like the biggies, you know, maybe a wedding, maybe an anniversary, something like that. So yeah, important dates that are going to stand out for you during the year. That's what this sheet is for. Again, this sheet it's used for an entire year. If you want to make a copy before you use it, maybe you want to laminate it before you use it so that, you know, you can use it year after year. That's up to you. Some sheets printed with a white line on the edge. I don't know why, because I put bleed on these pages and I proofed it, and they even wouldn't let me send this to the printer until the bleed like was fully over to the edge of the pages, and then it's still printed like this, and that kind of really ticks me off. So I don't know why it's like that, but if it really bothers you, I would just trim it off. I don't know. Another thing about this book, every page is single-sided, again, because of the bleed. If you're just gonna write in this book just as is, and you're not gonna laminate anything or anything like that, I should probably zoom out just a smidge so that I'm not cutting anything off. If you're just gonna write in it as is, I just made everything single-sided so that, you know, if there definitely will be bleed through depending on what you use. I would recommend just taking a sheet of paper and putting it under like this, just so it doesn't bleed onto the next page, okay? So that's the first sheet, important dates. Okay, next is monthly goals. Again, it's undated, but this is just to kind of break down your goals, just to kind of give you a little snapshot of where you want to be each month with your goals. Maybe January you want to save, you know, save $100. February, maybe you want to increase that to 200. March, maybe you want your goal to just be drink like 4 bottles of water a day or whatever. You know, April, maybe you want it to be, I don't know, walk around the block 6 times at least 3 days a week. Whatever your goals are, you know, this is a snapshot of them each month of the year. Again, undated. And like I said, if you want to use this year over year, you're going to want to either copy it or laminate it first before writing on it. That way you can wipe it down and reuse it. Okay? All right, so next we have the cash breakdown sheets. Now you can see there's 6 different ones on here. The point of that is just to give you different designs, okay? There's 6 different designs on here. You have like a rainbow, a smiley face, you have donuts. This is ice cream and popsicles. This is just like a little abstract design. This is kind of like a rainbowy, another abstract design. And you can see they're small, so you can take these to the teller at the bank. Again, if you don't exactly know how to use these, there's the descriptions in the front of the book. I think everybody knows how to use these pretty much. And then there's the dotted lines, so you can cut around the dotted lines. These you will probably want to laminate regardless. Well, again, I mean, you don't have to. It's up to you, but typically you would want to. And again, there's just multiples, just because not everybody's gonna like every design. So I'm just tried to give multiple designs so that hopefully everyone can find something that they like, okay? So cash breakdowns. Then we have more cash breakdowns, but bigger. Just in case you don't like small, I gave you these 2 larger ones, okay? Again, in 2 different styles. So once again, just another option for you. And then in case you don't like that, I gave you even one more, just almost full page one. Again, you can cut that out, laminate it, whatever, okay? So 3 different sizes of cash breakdown sheets and multiple different styles of those as well, okay? Next, IOU slips. Again, multiple different styles. Some have lines to write how much you owe. Some have just like little boxes or little spaces where you can write how much you owe. So that's those. And again, you can cut around those. I do, like I said, I recommend laminating these so that you can make them reusable. Then we have more IOU sheets. Again, I tried to make a bunch to find something that hopefully appeals to everyone. I like this one with the empty wallet with the spider webs. I was going to cut out some of these and laminate them before the video just to show you, but I think you guys get the idea. I mean, it's gonna look the same whether it's laminated or not, but I'm probably going to laminate some of these for myself and use them. So you will see me using some of these in my videos. So that's the IOU slips. Then we have in the bank slips. This is something new that I have not used, but I may start. So these are similar to prop money in that you're gonna write an amount on here, and this is basically taking the place of individual prop bills. So let's say in my emergency fund I have $537. So instead of having like a $500 slip, then a $20 prop bill and a 10 and whatever else I said, I could just write 537 on here and then slip this in my envelope, okay? Of course, I'm gonna laminate it first so that it's reusable and I could wipe it off. But I'm just gonna write the amount on here and slip that in my envelope. Instead of having to count the amount, I have the amount right there. Hopefully that makes sense. If I also have some cash in there with the prop money, I'll still have whatever the amount is written on here in the bank, the prop money. And then I just count, you know, whatever this amount is and then continue counting with my cash. Hopefully that makes sense. So a few different styles of those, okay? And then I gave you some blank ones. So these you could use as more in the bank slips if you want. You could use these as IOU slips. The IOU slips I gave you are smaller than typical. Okay, so you could use these as IOUs. You could use these as fully funded slips. You could use these as little dashboards for a savings challenge. You could use these as dashboards when you finish a savings challenge, to put like in your finished challenge envelope with the money to just label like what the money's for before you stuff it. You can use these as anything. So just a couple of those, okay? And then I gave you some fully funded slips. Again, a few of those. A few more fully funded slips. I love this little dollar. He's so stinking cute. Okay, and then we move on to some trackers. So here we have an expense tracker. Again, I recommend either laminating these or making copies of these because again, once you write on this, obviously it's done, okay? So with the trackers, I did give you multiples, but I only gave you multiples with different prints because I wanted to hopefully have you use like a print that you like. But you're still going to need to make copies or laminate it if you want to reuse it. I hope that makes sense. So with the expense tracker, you have your date, your description, your category, and your amount. So when you spend, you're going to write the date you spent, kind of a description of what you bought, whether it's groceries or maybe you bought like a video game, maybe you bought some clothes, anything, whatever you want. What category is it from? So it could be food, it could be emergency fund, it could be basically you're writing like your sinking fund category or your like wallet category that you're spending from, and then the amount that you spent. So that's how you would use that sheet. So we have this like beautiful, I love this pattern, this like leaf background. Then we have this kind of like retro background, and then we have this super neutral like marble background. And then we have this like blue sort of plaid, not plaid, what is this? I don't know, this background. And that's it. So you have the choice of these 4 different backgrounds. So hopefully you like at least one of these. And again, you could use all 4, of course, for your tracking, but once they're used, which again is why I suggest either laminating them first or tearing them out and making copies first before you write on them, okay? Then you have your finished savings challenges. I know this is a super popular one. I do have a digital download of this in my Etsy shop, but it's not this pretty. It's just like a very simple one. I don't even know if it has like a colored background. So I gave you a couple of these with fun backgrounds. Again, you'll want to either laminate or tear out and make some copies. So this is to track your finished savings challenges. So you write the name of the challenge or a little description of it, when you started the challenge, when you ended the challenge, and then how much you saved. Okay, so you have this super cute smiley face background. Then you have this really pretty little floral background. And then this like striped background. And then look at how cute this one is with the strawberries. Love that. And that's it. It looks like I probably gave you about 4 of each, okay? So that's the finished challenges. And then you have your sinking funds trackers. Now, yes, these are in my my budget planners as well, but in case you don't have my budget planners, or maybe you want it as a separate page or whatever, this is the same basic sheet, just different backgrounds. So you have the name of your sinking fund. You would write it here. You would write your starting balance, your ending balance, and your difference. Now I do mine monthly. You guys see I make videos on that every month. You don't have to do this monthly. You could do it every quarter, every couple of months, you know, every year, every 6 months, however you want to do it. But basically, you're going to take whatever your starting balance is. So whenever the last time is that you calculated your funds, that's your starting balance. You're going to wait however long your period is. So let's say you want to do it maybe every quarter, okay? So you're going to wait your 3 months. Then you're going to count up how much you have in your sinking funds at the end of those 3 months. That's going to be your ending balance. You're going to subtract the 2, and that's going to be your difference. And then you're going to total everything up, and then you'll be able to see how much you were able to add or like remove from your sinking funds over that quarter, or those 3 months. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, I make videos on that. I do mine monthly, but you don't have to. You can do, you know, in any period that you want. So we have this little kind of fun like confetti background. We have, ooh, the lemon background's pretty. I like that one. We have a rainbow background. You guys know I love that one. And then we have this like, I don't know, simple kind of sort of neutral background. Then we have a bill payment tracker. So for this one, you're going to write the name of your bill, the amount, the due date, and then you have a section here for every month of the year. And once you pay it, you're going to check it off. This just helps you keep track of your bills every month, what the amount is, when it's due, and then you can put a check mark when it's paid. It's all in one place. You can check it off when it's paid, so that way there's no guessing, any of that. And again, I gave you multiples of these just so you know you can choose kind of which one you like based on looks. So you got this like pink kind of swirly looking one, and then you have like a little bit of a simple kind of green one, pinkish and white kind of like polka dotty one, and that's it. Okay, again, I recommend making copies, laminating. I know I keep saying that, but just I want it understood that, you know, these are one-time use sheets essentially, unless you make them reusable. Okay, next we have some debt payoff sheets. Okay, so with these you have the name of your debt, so you can put, like, if it's a credit card, the name of the credit card, the name of the loan, whatever it is, you write that here. You write your starting balance, your start date, so like this, the date that you start the payoff, the date you finish paying it off, the date that it's finally paid, and then you can keep track of your payments here. Then you have a little progress meter here. I didn't put any lines purposely because I wanted you to kind of be able to make your own amounts or like your own increments for this, so you can kind of fill this up as you see fit. And then the next page is just more room for your payments. With this one, I wanted to put them side by side, but in order to do that, I would have had to have like 2 blank pages, and it just didn't work with the layout. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. Again, I wanted to keep all the pages single-sided, so, you know, there you go. With this one, these don't technically need to be laminated or copied. I gave you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So enough for 6 debts. So if you want to copy them or laminate them, that's great. If not, you have enough for 6 debts. And I mean, I think that's a fair amount of room to write a lot of payments, especially if you kind of like, you split this in half and write a payment here and then a payment here. That's a ton of room. Don't forget, I also have my dedicated Destroy That Debt planner. This is like just specifically for debt payoff. That gives you a ton of room to track all of your debt payments, gives you like the savings challenges and everything like that. So that's an option for you too if you really want just like a book specifically to track your debt. But yeah, I wanted this book to be just like all budgeting like helpers basically. So that's the debt payoff trackers. Then we have a savings challenge planner. So this is kind of open-ended. My intention for this is to kind of plan out, if you're someone who kind of like plans how much you want to put towards each challenge in your stuffing, you could use this sheet for that. So you could write the name of the challenge, how much you want to stuff into that challenge, and then if you want to, or if you know what that challenge is going towards, you could add that here. So maybe I would put, oh, I don't know, like, what's the name of a challenge? Like, geez, I can't even think of one right now. Like the Valentine cards that I was doing from Ren, Valentine scratch off hearts. And then maybe I wanted to put $10 towards that. So I'd write 10 and then saving for consignment sale, because you guys know I was doing those for the consignment sale. So that might be, you know, one way that I would use this. You could also do, so I know, I haven't watched her channel in a while, but I know Ange from Ange Budget and Debt used to do her challenges, and then she used to keep track. She used to write down how much she ended up putting into each challenge. So you know, this could be a sheet that she could use for that as well. Or like Taylor from A Little of It All. She also, what she does is she kind of does her challenges a week ahead and then stuffs them the following week. So like she'll do a scratch off, get the number, and then stuff it the following week. So you could also use this sheet for that. So you might write the name of the challenge, what the amount is, and then what the category is. And so it's a way to kind of keep track of what you're stuffing. And just, you know, just have all of that information in one place. I hope that makes sense. So we have this kind of fun, abstract, colorful background. And then we have another fun background there. Okay, so 2 of those. Then we have a sinking funds planner, so very similar to the savings challenges. This is kind of the same thing, but for sinking funds. So you have the name of the sinking fund, how much you want to put towards it, and then if you stuffed it, you can put a check mark. So that's that one. And then you have this background as well. Okay, and then you have some sinking funds randomizers, so you can again cut these out. I would definitely laminate these, otherwise you can only use them once. Using them once, I mean, you can use them multiple times as long as you don't want to change anything. I mean, I guess you can use whiteout, which would be fine, but again, laminating would be ideal. So with these, Again, you just have multiple styles here. There's room for 12 sinking funds. If you don't know how to play a sinking funds randomizer, you can, search YouTube. I'm sure there are tons of videos, but essentially you'll write the name of your sinking funds, and then you kind of just let the randomizer decide which funds you want to put money into. It's just a way for people with decision fatigue. It's a way for them to put money into funds without having to kind of get worn out with deciding. This decides for them instead of them having to make the decision. It's letting them put money into the funds without kind of making it stressful, if that makes sense. So you're going to write your sinking fund categories here. Again, I just gave you a couple different designs. And then I gave you something additional in the book that you can also use for this, but you can choose a card if you have a deck of cards, or you can, well, I guess not, because cards don't go up to 12 unless you used a face card. Roll a 12-sided die or whatever to choose the fund then to decide what you want to put money into. So there's those two. And then I just gave you a couple other designs there with only 6 in case you didn't want to use 12 funds. These ones go up to 6. So if you wanted to use 6 funds. So there you go. And then as the last thing and a fun bonus, I gave you these cards, which might be my favorite part of the book. So these are what you can use with the randomizer. So we have numbers from 1 through 9 here. So these I definitely recommend laminating. Again, if you don't have a laminator, maybe your friend does, the library might. If you know a teacher, maybe they can kind of sneak it over to school and laminate it. Because they're going to be much more durable if you laminate them, okay? So you have numbers 1 through 9 here, and then you have 10, 11, and 12, and then you have a couple extras. You choose, roll a die, skip or double, times 3, pick again, and then I left you a blank one so you can write whatever you want on that, okay? If you want to write something before you laminate it, that would make it permanent, but if you laminate it first, then you can write something and wipe it off and kind of keep changing it. So that's up to you. And how cute are these little numbers with their little faces? Adorable. So back to the randomizers. If I write my sinking funds, okay, 1 through 12, then I would cut out my cards, laminate them, give them a shuffle, choose a card. Let's say I choose number 2. I would go here to line number 2. Let's say it says emergency fund. That is basically the fund I would stuff. I would stuff emergency fund. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you can choose another card to tell you how much to stuff into the emergency fund, okay? Which is where kind of these bonus cards come in. You choose can be used for either you choose a fund or you choose how much you want to stuff. Roll a die, obviously roll a die for the amount to stuff. Skip or double, either skip stuffing that fund or double the amount. Times 3, triple the amount that you want to stuff. Pick again, pick a different fund or pick a different number, and then again, the one that you customize, okay? So you can use these cards in 2 ways, but you don't have to only use those cards for the randomizer. You can use those for a savings challenge. You can make up your own savings challenge or your own game with them. You can do anything you want with those cards. They're just a fun bonus, okay? And that is budgeting besties. So I hope you love it. What do you think? As I said, it is unique. I haven't done any other book like this before. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know. I want all the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Is it repetitive because we have pretty much all of these types of pages available already? Or is it fun? Let me know. Seriously, you won't hurt my feelings. Yeah, I just want to know. Like I said, I wanted to put everything in one place because I just thought it was cool and fun and a unique idea, and that's it. So if you're interested, it's available on Amazon right now. It's linked below in my description box. It'll be linked in every description box as with all my books. It'll also be available in my Amazon storefront as with everything I like to use. The price, I think the price is $17.99. It's a little bit pricier because it's a larger book and it's in color. And Amazon doesn't let you charge below a certain price. And so I literally make, I think, $2 and some cents on this, literally. So, you know, that's just the truth. So I think that's the price. That's it. Please let me know, like I said, your comments. I'm really curious to know what you think about this. That is it, my friends. This is a super duper long video. Thank you for watching till the end. I am so grateful that you're here. I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.